Thanks to Squarespace, the sponsor of today's video.
Watch how the data doesn't change at all. Is it made up data? They're different plants.
Why are you picking a piffly little epipremnum? Why not just sell the drops? Make that your thing.
I think they were trying to do some damage control, so they reached out to myself to do sponsored videos. I declined. Something just didn't feel right.
Let's just say that NeoPX is worth dozens of houseplants, like they claim that you need. Let's just say that you need one in every room in the house.
It would make way more sense that they just sold the power drops.
Work on the power drops, drop the self-watering pot, pick some maybe other very popular houseplants to see how it works on them, and create a product that boosts any houseplant's purification ability. Just sell the drops. Providing the research backs it, by the way. This is just assuming that what they say is great and it's amazing, right?
0% bullshit. If you have to say it, it might be. But this is all wrapped in like venture capital backed tech bro version for the houseplant industry, which a lot of us are calling BS on.
Hello everybody, glad you could make it. My name is Kaylee Allen and welcome to this video. I know we are back. I did not expect to be back, but some things have happened and it is insane. Keep watching. If this is your first time hearing about the company Neoplants and this deep dive series, I strongly suggest you go back and you watch parts 1 and 2. They each offer something completely different and they talk about completely different things. So Neoplants is a company that claimed to have produced a bioengineered houseplant that helps purify the air in your home, very similar to the way that electronic air purifiers do the same job. They believe it's a biological alternative, so you don't have to replace filters and you don't pay for electricity. It turns out that a lot of their data in their white papers, in any material they gave out, was extremely questionable. We also came to learn that Neoplants were being a little bit sloppy, perhaps, with some of their graphs, because you could literally overlay one over the other.
This graph is for the original genetically modified plant, and I'm gonna fade in the NeoPX, which is the plant that's currently being sold. The names at the top of the chart swap from NeoP1, watch it swap to NeoPX. Watch how the data doesn't change at all. Same noise in the data from the sensors. Is it made up data? They're different plants.
Shortly after my part 2 video and shortly after Pretty and Green's video on these graphs, the CEO of Neoplants, Lionel Mora, I think his name is, stepped down to a more backseat, I think, board member role. Whether or not this is related, I can't say, but it's interesting. What else have we got here? Allegedly, there are a few houseplant YouTubers that were offered handsome sums of money to do sponsored content favoring this plant. Allegedly.
In full disclosure, after Kaylee Allen's video dropped, I think they were trying to do some damage control, so they reached out to myself, as well as a few other YouTubers that I have confirmed with, to do sponsored videos. I declined that option to do it because something just didn't feel right.
Allegedly, there may be a houseplant YouTuber that had content featuring Neoplants taken down for privacy claims despite receiving verbal and written consent to use the content. Maybe it didn't go in their favor. But I don't know, it's all alleged, right? Right, guys? There has been made, I'm looking at my notes here, an update to the NeoPX page on their website where they basically tell us that their studies, their scientific studies on this product, are done in collaboration with the Mainz Telecom Institute. Now, there are no publicly listed studies on either websites, either on Neoplant's website, Mainz Telecom Institute's website, or any public databases available that have any such studies. Not saying they don't exist, I'm saying I couldn't find it. I also took the time to email the Mainz Telecom Institute about basically, does it exist? Did you collaborate? And I've had no response. And this was some time ago now, guys. This was about a month ago. Up until this day, we still do not know the effects of power drops with, for example, a fertiliser. And we still do not have any seemingly scientific information backing this wonderful web graph that they gave us that we covered in the last video, which, trust me, I'm going to touch on today. Because I might have found out why there is no data specifically for this graph. Still to this day, none of their plants or the power drops have been tested against traditional air purifiers. When I say traditional, I just mean any purifier, any carbon purifier, I should say, that is capable of handling VOCs the same way that their either power drops do or the NeoPX does. Or any of their plants. I don't know, I can't keep up at this point, to be honest. They do, however, still claim that these electronic filters cannot filter out VOCs, which is just not true. It's not true. This is like a Google search, guys. Honestly. It is only HEPA-only filters that cannot remove VOCs, right? And they are very specific. Most common filters nowadays do have carbon filters in them, and they can remove it. Right, as you may have seen from the start of the video, Neoplants have finally taken our advice, and they are starting to sell just the power drops. No plant, no host plant, no bioengineered, nothing. Just the drops. They were so kind in releasing a video onto their YouTube channel all about it. And we need to look. We need to look. Get a load of this.
We subject our plants to a continuous flow of pollutants in a larger 35-liter chamber, and we found that power drops boost plants' efficiency to remove VOCs by up to 30 times. But we didn't stop there. We constructed 2 identical 160 square foot rooms to see just how effective power drops are in a typical bedroom. For the first 5 days, VOCs were continuously released by the furniture to equally pollute both rooms. Then, we added power drop to plants in room 1. Throughout the month, the level of VOCs in that room significantly decreased. Plants treated with power drops are shown to reduce the concentration of VOCs by 30% in a 160 square foot room.
So I've given you a snipped down version of that video, but essentially this video talks about how they've bioengineered this houseplant. They did that study in the 35-liter container, the one that replicates the NASA study back in 1989 that's been completely proven false, but whatever. They did that study and they found the plant basically was 30 times more effective than a non-inoculated plant with their power drops. 30 times more effective. Remember this. They then did something that we have been asking for, in fairness. They produced this study in as close to a real-world setting as you can get. And they have given us the results. They've also updated their white paper to match this and reflect this, so I'm going to talk about it interchangeably. I'm going to talk about the video, and I'm going to talk about the white paper. Let's get the hell into it, because I have some issues. I can't believe that they've done this. I can't actually believe it. I'm still shocked. I'm still shocked. So we get this wonderful video, which I do think, and I can't confirm this, but it does look a lot like the Neoplants' actual offices. I'm not sure. It does seem to be legit. And there is going to be a question throughout this as to whether something's done for the video or it's actually accurate. We see the really glossy rooms. They're identical. You know, you've got the control plants in one side and the Neoplants in the other. First thing I'd like to say, have you seen these rooms before? Honestly, there's so much to go through. Have you seen these two rooms? Right. They are not quite identical. They are in terms of the furniture. And this is definitely two different rooms. You can tell by the camera. I think they've coloured one chair like a cream colour and one chair a blue colour. That's fine. Completely get why you do that to differentiate the rooms. Happy for that. Love that. Makes my job a lot easier because now I can definitely say there are two rooms. Okay. What the hell? What the hell is going on in the side of the room where we see the control room? Can we just take one moment to work out the level of greenery supplies within this room and why you can't really see it in the Neoplants room? I think I know why they've done that. They've made it look like, oh, we need like, you know, you need loads of plants. We don't. But I don't think that's what the experiment is, all right? Very quickly, just so we recap, this experiment takes place in a sealed room, blah, blah, blah. I'll get onto that as well. But we have 8 houseplants in each room. 8 the control that are given water, and 8 that are the Neoplants plants, so they're being given power drops, right? 8 plants. 8 plants. 8. The 8 plants they appear to have chosen, the size of this, is this a ficus? I'm looking at it on my computer screen and it's a bit dark in here because I have lights on me. But this is clearly some kind of ficus. I can't tell if it's Elastica or Lyrata. I think it's Elastica from memory. I'm just seeing like a little patch on my screen. We have, no doubt, that's a pothos there. They love the Repipremnum. I'm sure they've got plenty of that, am I right? and a few other bits and pieces. I think they mentioned Monstera, other bits and bobs, right? And we will get into that. I'm not bothered about the specifics of the plants right now. I'm bothered personally about their placement and their size, because that is crazy. The white paper says that they are placed identically. The size and the placement of the plants in each room is identical. I'm not seeing that here, not even a little bit. And I know what you're probably going to say. You're probably going to say, hey, it's probably done for the video. And maybe. But if this is really their lab and it's really their experimental setup, why not make it the same for the sake of actually being, at least appearing to be, scientific? I don't understand that. After all the scrutiny these guys have come under, guys, don't you think it's a bit of a rookie error just not making them look the same? What are you trying to prove? You tell me on your white paper that they're in the same place. And I'll get onto that again. I'll get into the diagram because I do think it's weird. But this is not the same. It's not even remotely the same. The size of these plants, I tell you something, it's a lot bigger than an EOPX that they were selling that apparently covered this same space, by the way. Let that sink in. Are you looking to create a brand new website, perhaps for a personal blog or to showcase and sell your own products? Get started today with Squarespace. Squarespace is a one-stop shop to create your very own sleek and professional website built from a variety of modern and fully customizable templates. No technical or programming knowledge required. I've used Squarespace for years now, guys, and I honestly won't go anywhere else. Once you've found a template that you'd like to use, you can use Squarespace's Blueprint AI to help you flesh out your website in a conversational tone of your choosing. Either to get you started on the title and section ideas, or even create full-on articles and posts. And if you're looking for a custom domain, Squarespace domains make it even easier to find the best name for your website all in one inclusive price, with absolutely no hidden fees and no add-ons required. The best part, guys, you can try Squarespace for yourself for absolutely free. Check out squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/KayleeEllen to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. I just think, Neoplants, you need to represent your experiment properly, because this ain't it. This ain't it. My second issue with this video, guys, it makes, I think it's 3 minutes 32 seconds to 3 minutes 36 seconds. We see a glorious pan shot of the two rooms. It's very nice, it's very sexual, it's very well lit, it's depth of field. Oh, love it, right? The problem I have is, it pans directly from one room with the door open to the other room with the door open. I'm not mad the doors are open. Obviously the experiment's over, they're filming, that's fine. My issue is, there was no way of separating, according to this video, the air exchange that would take place from entering room 1, the control room or whatever, to room 2, the Neoplants room. I can see that you have no airlock, so I'm just wondering how you're actually dealing with cross-contamination. There's just no way of limiting that. If you go into room 1 and, war everything, then you come out, you've done air exchange there because, again, there's no airlock. You leave, you go into room 2, you do some air exchange there. What is going on? Is that air exchange alone removing the level of VOCs? I don't know. Trust me though, that doesn't even matter. Their results are so obviously something, we'll say for now, that it doesn't even matter. I'm just pointing it out. Now, I know you could argue that they're simulating a real world setting. The problem is you're still cross-contaminating between the two rooms. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's just not ideal. Sorry, I've moved my microphone because I need to sit back a bit, otherwise I'm going to get swallowed up in the frame. I don't like this, and it's so clear, guys. You can't fake this. It's a clear pan across. I don't even know. And I can assume from your white paper that you basically showed us the diagram of what's going on. You are not actually watering or administering the drops remotely, right? Because you have, it's such a weird diagram. Obviously, you'll see it on the screen now. It's so weird. And I don't know why it's not done to scale, right? But this adds more problems because I can't see anything that would suggest in here that the drops or the water was administered remotely, right? So that air exchange is taking place walking in and out of that room. If you believe the white paper that they want you to believe, just saying, and you believe the video that they put out that they want you to also believe. This diagram shows nothing of that. Also, I mean, okay, the weird furniture bit, that's just weird, it's not scaled. That's fine. That's fine. I'm not too bothered about that. What I am bothered about are these plants here, right? we can see there's one door going into the room, and there are 8, yes I know, 8 houseplants in front of this window. But when you look at the images, basically, they aren't. They're potted around the room. So which one is it? Are they in front of the window or are they there? Did you recreate this just for the shots? If you did, why is the Neoplants room not showing seemingly any plants? Or did you not recreate the shots? Did you not? Did you put these in darker spaces in the control and you rammed your Neoplants ones up against a light or something? I can't tell. I don't know why you would do this. It's a little bit weird to me. I would like this explained. And remember, guys, they gave us this video on their YouTube channel for us to believe and to understand. I'm not trying to be horrible. I mean, I'm being horrible, but honestly, they deserve it at this point. They deserve it at this point. Like, I'm not trying to be super granular. I'm just taking it as it is. And this jumped out at me from the offset when I looked at this. So, no airlock. Plants don't seem to be fed remotely. Great, cool, right. Fine. That's the window where the plants apparently are, and you can genuinely see in the Neoplants video, nothing is really against the windows, so I don't know. We know how Neoplants are with their white papers. Needs some work, leaves a lot to be desired on the best of days. It says in the white paper, you know, the different things they've used, the temperature, the humidity, blah, 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 blah. And it says, under section says houseplant. It says that 8 houseplants of various species per room were used, right? So the same in every room. And I do think at some point it does say, oh, it's the same per room. That's fine. So we have Neon Pothos, snake plant, Mikado Pilea, Monstera deliciosa, Philodendron Brantianum, Calathea, doesn't say what type, Alocasia, Gagiana, and Ficus elastica. If the same plants were used, that's great. I'm not told the size and mass of everything. My main issue, guys, is with the size of these plants, because in this diagram, I realize nothing is to scale. Maybe that is deliberate, because the size of these plants look tiny. You know, like smaller than a NeoPX. That's what they look like to me. And I fully expect Neoplants to come out and go, oh no, this was for the video, that's fine. That is fine. I still have issues and I will get onto them because I can't believe this. So I'm wondering generally, by the way, just why this diagram is weird and vague. I'm just wondering. But again, I digress. Yeah, it says here, the number of plants, plant species, pot size, soil, water amount, and placement were identical in both rooms. Well, nope. Not according to this video, which remember, you gave me to go off. You gave me this and you said, go off this, okay? You put it on the internet. You want us to look at this. And I gotta say, you must really, to even set this up, you obviously knew before you set it up, you have to have your own data, but to use 8 plants, by the way, when you're trying to sell us one plant, remember the NeoPX, or if you just want to buy the power drops, very kind of you by the way, then you are still relying on us probably buying 1, right? Because a lot of our houseplants are bigger than the NeoPX, which by the way, I must take the time to state that the drops only work on plant pots of 6 inches in diameter, which I'm sure these plants are bigger. That Monstera looks like about 6 inches. The Ficus looks a lot bigger than 6 inches, so I'm just saying. Right, this is why I'm making this video, because this is crazy. We're gonna do the maths. We're gonna do the maths on this video because they've given us such a glossy thing. And you can't argue with these results, and I'm not arguing with the results. I think the results are accurate. I know. Even given everything, even given the air exchange that will potentially filter out that air, as we know, opening a window is usually the best solution to this sort of stuff, as well as filters and stuff. Even though the airlock thing might have been a problem, I'm still giving it the benefit of the doubt and just assuming it's not even a problem at all, even though that would have potentially helped them, I guess. So, according to Neoplants' website, the cost of power drops, so just 1 plant per month, to cover a 160-foot squared room, which I'm pretty sure is the same room as the experiment, of course, hence they did it. They're telling you 1 plant. Remember, the NeoPX, 1 plant. I can only assume the NeoP1 is also 1 plant. They want you to buy 1, apparently. The cost of 1 plant a month is $9 a month. And you probably think, pretty cheap, which is $108 per year. It doesn't, honestly, that to me does not sound awful. It doesn't. It might be awful if you need more than 1 room, but for now, we're only gonna do all of our maths today, guys, of one room. Okay, just double checking on the website there. Yep, they are claiming 160 square foot room. One plant with power drops covers up to 160 square foot. You heard it first at Neoplants. So why did you use 8? Why did you use 8? That is ballsy, man. After everything we've gone through with Neoplants, that is ballsy. I can't believe they used their time away to go and to do that with 8 plants. Oh my god. I would like to break down the actual effectiveness of these 8 plants. But obviously, according to the maths, 8 plants are needed to produce the results that they are going to show us in the white paper with the graph. Alright? I know what their video said. It said 30 times. One plant, $9 a month. 8 plants will be $72 a month, which is $864 as of recording this video for 1 year. That is a lot. That is between 3 and 8 times more expensive than the average carbon filter purifier that can remove VOCs. That is a lot, and that's including electricity, by the way. Neoplants claims 30 times the VOC removal from the lab test with the 35-litre glass chamber. That they say, oh, it's the gold standard. It's not. It's not. You can measure things on like a small scale test level, but it's absolutely not the gold standard of measuring things in a real life scenario. Obviously, do I live in a 35-litre glass container? No, I don't. Although it does feel like it sometimes. So what did we get when we expanded it to a room with fucking 8 of them? Not one. One in a 35-litre container. 8 in the real world scenario in the room. What do we get? We got 30% VOC reduction. Now then, this is where I think, personally, this becomes quite crafty, and it relies on a lot of things. It relies on somebody not necessarily reading that and thinking too hard about it, because I tell you something, 30% is not the same as 30 times. I'm really pleased that they got 2 number 30s, otherwise this would not work. They say, compared to the control, benzene and toluene emissions. Oh, I didn't see this in my notes. It says, compared to the control, benzene and toluene emissions were reduced by 30% with the addition of power drops. What about xylene? Don't you target the 3 VOCs? Where's xylene gone? What happened to that? But anyway, I digress. Not even important. The small scale study, the glass chamber is small scale. That gave us a 30% improvement, which works out like 2,900%, right? A 2,900% improval over the control, which is no power drops, okay? The full scale study experiment was 1.3 times or 30%. So what I'm saying is you've got 30 times versus 1.3 times using 8 plants, or we have 2,900% with 30%. Which means if you do the maths to figure this out, guys, the full scale study gave off a 4.3% of the improvement done in the 35-litre gas chamber. And you had to fucking use 8 fucking plants. Not one, you used 8 of them. And you only got 4.3% of the effect in your lab results. That, to me personally, is absolutely diabolical. But it's not even the worst bit, guys. It's not even the worst bit. Oh my god. 8 plants! 8 plants! Wait, and you've put this on the internet, like nobody's gonna go, oh, but you used 8. What? Like, this really throws into question for me what the NeoPX was even doing. Think about that, because the NeoPX, remember guys, that is a host plant that is not bioengineered. It's just given the power drops the same as this shit is in this room, except they had to use 8 to cover an effective 4.3% of what the original experiment in the chamber did. So what the hell is the NeoPX doing when you put it in there? What does that even mean? So if you get, say 8 plants are 4% of the effect, we'll just narrow it down a little bit, right, for the maths. That means that 1 plant, so 4 divided by 8, is 0.5% of the effect seen in the glass chamber for 1 plant. Is the NeoPX doing 0.5% of the effectiveness in a tiny chamber when you put it in a room. What on earth is going on? Like, I honestly, guys, I didn't think I'd be doing another video on this. I honestly thought that's it. And I just happened to check on them the other week. This video has been in the works for a while because, as you guys know, I've had loads of problems. But, like, I was shocked that they put this out. I remember this is a max pot size of 6 inches. Just 6 inches. These big boys behind me, I know, my old backdrop's gone. I've clotted this together. There's 2 massive Monstera behind me. They are probably 10 inches apart a piece. And that they are pot bound as hell, right? And they're just Monstera. They're about 1 meter tall, maybe a little bit more. I would love to see, for 8 plants at $80 a month to get that tiny little reduction, I would really love to compare that to a Dyson. I don't even want you to compare one plant to a Dyson anymore. Fuck it. Put in all 8. You can have all 8 of them and you can compare it to a Dyson and let's see what happens. Because personal opinion here, make that very clear, personal opinion, I think you're taking the piss. I think you're taking the piss. This is just not something I expected at all. A lot of people will look at that video, guys, and think that the 30 times, the 30 times, the 30 times is the same as the 30%. Right? You look at it, you think, oh, 30 times in the chamber. Oh, but then we see the full room and it's 30% improvement. Oh my God, like, it's it. This is what we've been waiting for. No, it isn't. It's not the same. It is a monumental decrease in performance. And they used 8. I'm exasperated. I am exasperated. They know this. They know it's 4% of the effect that you get in the chamber. That's probably why there is 8, because they can't show 0.5% of the effect. But hey, if they add in 8, if they just so happen to add in 8, they get a number from this experiment that resembles the 30 times. Do you see what I'm saying? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? I really hope I'm not shouting into my mic. But this does remind me, actually, of something they once said about the Neo P1. It was on their website, I think it was a splash screen for the P1, and it said something along the lines of, we noticed significant performance variations that we need to fix. Is this the significant performance variation that you need to fix? I strongly suggest to you in this video, personal opinion, that it might be. This might be the thing that they need to fix, which is basically that it appears seemingly non-effective in a real world scenario. And you gave us the data. You gave us the data. The data's, oh God, it's not even, it gets worse. Honestly, this gets worse. So the graph. So we did these results. I know the video says this, that, and the other. Oh, it's really great. It's 30%. That's fine. That's cool. But in the white paper, because they love their white papers, and so do we, they gave us the graph for this study that they did, right? And I couldn't help but notice something about this graph. And this is just like, my mind is blown. It's quite one thing, right? To do that web graph, you know, the one that we talked about in the last video, I flashed up on the screen. This web graph right here, basically with seemingly no study with it. Right? No result with it. It wasn't in the white paper. It just wasn't there at all. It was just on the website, right? Saying that, hey, every 4 weeks, top it back up, goes up to 100%, whatever, right? Which we had our own issues with that graph last time. But yeah, it's one thing to do that. However, the clean air delivery rate, you don't even have to know what it means. Just take it as what it is. I'm really trying to even dull down the science in this because this is so obvious. You don't need science for this. But the clean air delivery rate, so the effectiveness, I'm going to say, of your power drops, does not, according to this graph, do what you think it does. So on this graph, I'm looking at it as I explain it to you, we have the controls which are non-inoculated at the bottom, the ones that are inoculated just once, and then the re-inoculation, which is kind of nice that you've tried to show us, hey, this is what happens if you don't do it. And they do nicely plot for you the declining curve, I guess you could say, of the effectiveness. And you can see there, when you re-inoculate those light green ones, that it jumps back up, and that is why they say we should re-inoculate. However, I could not help but notice that when you re-inoculate these plants, according to your data, your paper, your graph, they do not reach 100% effectiveness again. Let that sink in for 1 second, guys. When you have T0, so, you know, at the beginning, it's nearly 1.0. I know it's not quite, but it's nearly 1.0. 4 weeks after the first reapplication, it only jumps up to about 0.95. And after the second application, so we are re-administering these drops, guys, to top it up, we drop down to 0.9, maybe 0.92. So this graph, your graph, shows that the CADR, the clean air delivery rate, the effectiveness, I'm going to say interchangeably because it's easier, does not go back up to the original level when you top this shit up. That is news to me because your web graph does not indicate that, but okay. It actually shows, guys, diminishing returns on topping this plan up, which is it's a big deal. It's a big deal when you're selling a subscription plan. I'm telling you now. Power drops may not fully re-establish the relationship of the microbial population in the soil. Whatever it needs to do, re-administering the power drops does not seem to bring it back. There may be environmental changes or some sort of resistance that builds up in the soil over time. I don't know the science of it. All I'm going off is their graph. It doesn't really matter what changes over time. The point is, in a real world scenario, this shit declines. Essentially, we asked them for science, right? And hats off to them, they gave us some science, sort of. Their white paper scientifically contradicts the implication that they made on their website that monthly application or reapplication of these drops brings things back up to 100% effectiveness. And when you look at that web graph, it does indicate 100% to me. I'm not making that up. They are literally saying 100% every time when you inoculate. But your data shows me something that you're just not mentioning, which is the diminishing returns. So I did a really rough graph, and honestly, this is just a guideline. Do not take this as read. This is not their information. This is my information, and it is an estimate. I want to make that super, super clear. But I've done a graph to show what this study may look like if it was extended, just using the rate of diminishing returns, right? And I have started with a clean air delivery rate of 1. And I have made sure that that decline on week 8 or whatever does hit 0.92, just to give things the benefit of the doubt, right? Basically, according to this graph, what this graph shows, kids, is that if you use power drops every month, the performance obviously still drops, but by month 12, you're only getting approximately, what does that come to? About 52% of the original effect of, say, the first inoculation after 12 months. Let me say that again. Theoretically, according to their data from their experiments in their white paper, shows us that potentially if you re-administer, if you sign up to this thing for 12 months, you may be running at 52% effectiveness with reapplying their drops that they say takes you back to 100%. What the hell? What the hell? So if you're paying $9 a month, you're paying the same price for potentially less and less performance over time. Does this mean that you made up the web graph? Because here's what the actual data is. Maybe you just jazzed it up a little bit and changed it. I don't know. And I'm asking the question. I'm not saying they're doing this. I'm asking them if they're doing this. Does this mean that you made up that web graph to look nice and shiny? Because your actual data that you have given us contradicts that web graph that has been there, well, at least a year now. I mean, the last video I did on this was a year ago, right? At least a year. You've not even showed public results for the full experiment that you claim to have done here with 8 fucking plants, right? You've not even showed us the public results for one NeoPX doing it. And you've got on your website, it's 30 times more effective at polluting the air than a regular houseplant. Yeah, in a fucking test tube, in a 35-litre container, and you're saying it'll cover 160 square foot. What, at 0.5% of the effectiveness? Is this why you have not produced the results for the larger scale, for the room? Is this it? Is this the whole reasoning? Does it all make sense now? I don't know. Not for me to tell, not for me to decide even, really. It's for you to decide. You're saying that one NeoPX alone, the PX, so fuck the power drops alone on your plant, just the PX, it's 30 times more effective, but you're not being able to prove it outside of a glass chamber that's like this big. You've not been able to prove it, and you're expecting us, this is the worst part, you're expecting us to pay for it each month after showing us data where, one, you needed 8 of these fucking things to produce the effect that you produced. It's 4.2 or 3, was it, % of the effect in the chamber, and it apparently, according to your data, gives off diminishing returns. Why can't you show us results beyond an 8-week test? 8 weeks, guys. They are giving you 8 weeks and they want you to subscribe potentially for a whole year plus. Imagine paying for something, or being asked to pay for something, I should say, for a year when the company can't show you it works for 3 months? Am I going nuts? This is like... I hope you see now why I had to make another video, because this just took me so by surprise, honestly. And it's getting really, really hard, Neoplants, to feel personally like I'm not being taken for a huge ride here. This is crazy. I'm sorry, Neoplants. I'm sorry. I'm getting a bit heated. I'm getting rude. I'm being a bit rude. I'm not really, but maybe a bit really. I'm being a bit rude. And that is absolutely, it's so not becoming of me. It's just not the way that you talk about one of your customers. No, I'm not kidding. So here's some tea for y'all, right? Neoplants when was the date? Do I have the date on my notes? I can't see, it's small, it's a screenshot, it's blurry. Some point in January, I believe it was late January, they came to my website and they purchased a couple of my products. I know it was them. I'm showing you screenshots that, by the way, Neoplants are completely privacy protected. I've literally negated everything. The only thing I'm showing you is the date the order was made, the products, my products, publicly available products that were sold, and the fact it was billed to Neoplants by simply showing you the Neoplants and showing you the end of the publicly available email. That is all I'm showing you, but it is my point to prove that I'm not making this up. Because I actually thought when I saw this, that this was like some kind of wind up, like a subscriber that like doesn't like me did it or something. Because you know what they're like, guys. I've had this for years. I honestly thought it was somebody trolling me. And I saw the billing address, I saw everything else, I was like, oh shit, it is them. It is them. It was made even more clear when the person that bought the items, shall we say, they emailed me to basically have an invoice so that they could send it to the company so that they could claim it back properly, right? Completely legit, right? Now, I don't know why they've done it. My number one thought is probably market research. Maybe it's to scope out competition, because the two products that they bought from me, one, they bought number 2 and number 5, guys. If you don't know and you're watching, I own a houseplant, mainly fertiliser brand, but it's plant care brand, I should say. It's called NurtureSystem. We have some substrates, we have fertilisers, we have other little bits and pieces, right? They bought number 2 and they bought number 5. Number 2 is Power Boost. That is a biostimulant. It increases flowering response, stuff like that. Right, keep it simple. And number 5 is mycorrhizal fungus. It's beneficial fungi for the soil and the root system. They've purchased those 2. Now, they could have purchased them because they think they are in some way not the same as I don't think they think I'm copying off them, but in some way the same product arena, the same product category as Power Drops. I don't know. If you've got any theories on this, I would love to hear it. And I've remained quiet on this for a long time just because I thought, well, if nothing ever comes of it, I don't do another video, there's no point mentioning it, right? But we're doing the other video and I thought I'd mention it. Very, very odd. But thank you so much for your custom, Neoplants. Honestly, guys, I don't even think they knew it was my brand. I'm not sure. Maybe they did. Maybe that makes it worse. I don't know. But thanks for your custom anyway. I really appreciate it. Never thought something like that would happen, but alright. Neoplants, I just want you to give us just a no bullshit answer of how this stuff works in a real world scenario without having to use 8 fucking plants when you have been trying to sell us one. I don't know if your move is to permanently move towards the drops and just quietly drop the other ones. I have no idea. I don't work at Neoplants. I'm not privy to that, guys. And I'm not making any statement as to what they're doing. Alright, I'm just speculating. I'm allowed to do that. Even if you've moved forward to the drops, great. Thank you. Great suggestion. You still having to use 8 in a room. And this is a pot of up to 6 inches, which should get you something reasonably sized, actually. Yeah, alright, hanging plants maybe doesn't look as much, not as much plant matter, but something bigger, sure thing, right? You're having to use 8, and I don't understand why you put something out on YouTube that says, hi, here's 8. Because you can't claim, at this point, you can't claim that your NeoPX is different and it's better, because it wasn't. It was a host plant. There was nothing, and you've said this so many times, that it's just a host. There's nothing special about the epipremnum that you use for your PX. Just the same as there is nothing special about our houseplants, which could be bigger, could be smaller. That's not really the point. The point is you still have to use 8 of them, and if we believe what you put in your video, then they're fucking huge, dude. Like, they might come out tomorrow and go, oh no, they're actually these really small plants. But honestly, in my personal opinion, guys, If the plants they actually used were small, I think they would show that, because that's a massive bragging right. If you've got tiny little piffly little plants, being able to pull even 30% effectiveness or something like that, I mean, that is still shit, don't get me wrong, but if they were using small ones to achieve this effect, I'm pretty sure they would show you that, because that's the whole point, is it bolsters them, right? As if to go, hey, this works, look how small plants are. It's like, you don't even need big plants in your house to do it. You can do it on these small ones, whatever. I really do solemnly believe, personally, that if that was the case, they would show you that. And it's very sus. It's very, very sus. You can take the video for what it is, being like, oh, it's marketing. It's you know, it looks very stock footage. It's this and the other. Personally, I do believe it was in Neoplants' offices. I could be wrong. That doesn't really matter. I'm not bothered, right? Take away all the video if you want. You've still got the white paper, and you've still got that weird graph that's basically like, oh, yo, by the way, when you top it up, it's, we're nearly there, but not quite. And it's like, yeah, cool, but what happens in 12 months? What happens in 12 months? Are you going to release that? Because I think if you're wanting someone to sign up, is annual subscription even an option? It probably is. I'm not looking at it in front of me now. I will put it on the screen if it is or it isn't. You've got to show us results for that. You can't... I can't believe this. I can't believe they've done this and put this in a paper. Hey, at least the graphs might actually be accurate this time, but it really throws into question that one they had on their website that just says, oh, if you top it up, it's 100%. And I remember famously critiquing that, going, look at this graph. Where's the data? Where is the data where you say you worked with the Mines Telecom Institute on this stuff? Why is that not public available? Maybe that's something I don't know about scientific studies and stuff. Maybe it's under confidentiality, but like, I don't see why it's not in a database, and I don't see why someone can't confirm, hey, the study happened, not, you know, here's the ins and outs of it. I didn't want to know the ins and outs of it, just like I didn't want to know if the ASA one, I didn't want to know anything about it, I just wanted the photograph. I just wanted to know in that email, hey, did you do it? Is it a thing? Nothing. Now, I must say for the video, that does not mean to say that it did not happen. It means they didn't respond. That's all it has to mean, is they didn't respond. But even then, if you have results from a study with a prestigious institute, why aren't you putting them out there? Or is this the study that was in collaboration with it? Or was the 35-litre chamber in collaboration with it? You're not making it clear at all. I don't know which study it was. But even then, I can't find any record of it publicly. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm saying I can't find it on the Mines Telecom Institute's databases or Neoplants or anything. I can't find it, right? It annoys me. And then you come out with this video that is supposedly, again, you're supposed to try and make yourself scientific, which I thought that was like your vibe. The video is completely inaccurate. It poses more questions than it answers, and you've bothered to put 8 plants in there. Like, I just want you to have a product you can prove is effective, and you can do it for 12 months. Is it so hard? I don't know as of recording this video, but I'm sure Dyson has something. Surely. They would have to, I guess, to know when you replace your filter. I don't know how often the filter replacement is. Is it once a year? Is it once every 6 months? I don't know. It can't be that hard. Your job is science. Your job is science. I don't get it. And I understand, Neoplants, you probably cannot stand me by now because I think there's been nothing but headaches for you, but I'm just asking questions that other people are going to ask. I'm not using private data. I'm not doing anything weird, so you needn't come at me. I'm asking questions based on shit that you have put out. You wrote it, you filmed it, you put it out there. And breathe. Listen, I don't know if there's going to be another Neoplants video. It's all on them. It depends what developments they make. We're 3 videos in now. If they do something, we may as well, right? We may as well. It depends on what it is, but I'm not going to shut the door on this because this is just... It's almost fascinating to watch the company navigate this, if I'm completely honest with you. Houseplant community is very quiet. I'm fascinated by this shit. I am fascinated by this shit. I think when I looked at that video, again, it's not in front of me right now, there were comments underneath that video. As of me filming this, I should say, the comments are on. I'm going to make a slight prediction that maybe the comments in a week's time from the upload date of this video might be turned off for a bit because they have famously done that. They have famously done that. But that's all I've got to say. Sorry, it's very ranty. Completely appreciate that. But it just makes me so mad, guys. Like, it's just, you just have to do basic maths to figure this shit out. And we're a year in, and we're still getting shit like this. So, I don't know. Please leave any opinions on anything I've said in the comments. Similarly, if you like this video, please leave a like. It lets me know that I'm making content that you enjoy. And if you haven't already, I would love it if you could subscribe to this video. If you have not seen part 1 and part 2, a little bit weird now, but I will link them down below and you can watch them anyway. That's it for this week's video. I love you and leave you. Have a great day. Bye, guys.